cheer from the volunteers on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to another episode of our podcast. We still haven't picked a name yet.
No, just LiveBig and KidsPlay Foundation presents.
Okay,
how about
presents.
that?
Yeah. Hey, there you
Why
go.
not?
Kind of a really long name. So if anyone listening, watching has a recommendation or a suggestion for a name, we're all ears. Welcome back. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've heard something in the past few weeks that would be helpful, because our goal here is to talk about real things that come up in the minds of, I'd say, most, if not all, people. And our goal is just to be able to introduce and present to you just people that are out in the community doing positive things and that have made positive changes in their lives. And I'm very thankful today to have a little brother of mine and a very close friend who I've known now for over a year. And I've had the privilege of watching you develop in your life and see these significant changes. And I'm not going to tell your story for you, but I just want to congratulate you, because I know on Thursday you reached a significant milestone.
So it's been great. I'm proud from Abbotsford. It's.
We won't hold that against you.
We'll try not to.
No offense, Abbotsford. I love Abbotsford. I started my career there.
Yeah, we have lots of members from there, so.
Honestly, coming under treatment every day gets better.
Every day
Gets better. I mean, I come home, there's happiness. Right.
Coolest thing is that I've got to see you now over the year, right? Over the last, I'd say, year and a half.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the day I first spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah, I know.
Because you called in and said, look, I need some help and I'm dealing with some things. And then we met and went to a meeting together. Just to watch how much passion you have to want to get better.
Yeah.
I think, and again, I don't want to speak to your story for you, but I remember you saying and thinking, okay, I can do this by myself.
No.
And then and then to watch you go into treatment and to see you flourish since then has been cool. So I want to sort of get to know you and our audience to get to know you. Where were you born?
Abbotsford.
Okay, and how old are you?
27.
Okay, and what do you do for work?
I do auto body estimating.
Awesome.
Right? Okay. So I'm starting a new job.
Yeah.
Can I mention the name?
If you want to, of course.
Sure.
Yeah. Free plug for them. You got a good number.
No, I'm working for Simran Seacon at Pro First. Shout out to him. So I'm going to give him a shout out today.
Yeah.
So I start Monday. I love to work, right? I mean, but then it was just my alcohol and substance use, right? Kind of, I was working so hard, but I was not really gaining anything from working. I was just literally just working to destroy my life. Right? It wasn't even partying anymore. It was just kind of destroying my life. Friday would come, okay, and then all of a sudden it's Sunday, and you get a habit of missing work, and then it's nothing came good from that. From 5-6 years of doing all that, right? And now when I look back, and I'm like, what was I doing?
I hate the word, Karen. In our little, this word partying. You hear it so often. At least I do. Like, I was just partying. It's not partying.
Yeah.
Like towards the end of my using and drinking, I was by myself in different locations.
Yeah.
That's not a party.
No.
And I'm in this sort of mental jail that I've constructed for myself. And because I did it while I was drunk and high, I forgot how to take the bars down.
Yeah.
And it's like this self-concept and self-creation of this jail for myself. And frankly, I just couldn't get out of it by myself. So how did your issues with alcohol and substances evolve?
It was just getting out of high school, just hanging out with people that drank a lot, and then people were using, and then slowly it was just you start doing all that with people that that do it, but then also you start isolating yourself, right? And then you lose sight of life, right? What really life is like. Even my cousin over there, he's sitting over there. We've never been this close, right? I never really got to know them as them growing up a little bit, right? Now it's just we're getting to know each other. We hang out all the time. We work out, we do different things, and just being sober, honestly, I would never change my life. I would never go back to that. There's no way.
It's amazing.
And it's just
Can you describe for us, like, when you were going through these things and the isolation that you talked about, how was your relationship with your family around this time?
It was pretty. But the thing is, my dad didn't really talk too much, obviously, because you know how fathers are. They're always on your case, right? My mom, thing is, moms are always gonna be by your side. She always took care of me, made sure I had water, lassi, or even food.
Yeah.
Doing like a 10-hour shift, but she'd always call me and be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Like, what do you want to eat something, or
Yeah.
just always taking care of me, right? So my mom was always on my side at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But growing up, I mean, I didn't grow up in a bad family or anything.
Yeah.
I like, honestly, when I look back, I don't even know what really caused this. Like, I never, really, like, I just don't know. I think I think just my mind, that's all it learned. So I just kind of like knew that, like, Friday night, let's go have a bottle, and let's go have some substances, let's go, right? I thought that was life, right? And like, it was just
It becomes routine, huh?
It becomes a routine. Yeah, you're just like, it's a cycle, right? So in treatment, they show you, right? It's just a cycle. Even if you're a weekend warrior, you're still in the cycle all the time, and it's just, I don't know. It's just like, when I look back and I'm like, wow, what was I doing, right? All this money wasted, all this life wasted.
But I think something very special about Sumit, and then now I see it in you as well, is the will to help others get back on track, because we all have a story.
Yeah.
And instead of judging somebody and putting labels on someone, you guys are willing to just step out of your comfort zones, talk about your stories, and then help others recover. I think that is the most beautiful thing.
Thanks, Barna. Like, to me, so much of it, and I know we've talked about this a lot off camera, is not letting anyone else tell our stories.
Absolutely.
And then not falling victim or allowing myself to feel like the victim as it comes to the labels. Like, I was so afraid of being called an alcoholic or a drug addict.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying it today. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, but
I'm 100%. And that's the key, is that in recovery, I don't care. Truly, do you care today with the happiness that you're feeling? And I know we're going to get into that and talk about all the good things that are happening in your life, which are beautiful. If you have these positive things, but you have to call yourself an alcoholic or addict, do you care?
Like, I don't care. I like this life better, but I don't shy away from my past. I go, like, it was like 2 weeks ago. I went to a gas station, and I just started talking to this lady, and then she was just, I was just telling her I just got out of recovery, this, that, and then she's like, oh yeah, I went to recovery too before.
No way.
So it's kind of like cool, like, you see people,
connected
right?
With her, yeah.
And honestly, like, now, like, I got friends, that drink, maybe once a week, but they'll call me, and then one of my friends were like, man, I want to go sober too. I want to do this, and it's just like, you see day by day. Like, he's like, I'm like, okay, let's see if you can do 3 months. I'm like, you do 3 months? I'm like, I'll take you out for the nicest dinner ever, right? I'm like, whatever, I'm like, obviously I can't take you out for drinks or anything, but I'll take you out for dinner.
Perrier and Perrier and lime,
right?
bro.
So it's kind of cool. People see
yeah.
you, right? And you know what I mean? And like, cause I'm the oldest cousin out of all my cousins, right? They're all younger, right? They don't drink, so it's kind of easy for me. So now I just mold myself with them, right? So I hang out with all my cousins now. I got some friends, all my old friends that were, obviously drinking and using. They don't call me anymore. They never were like, hey, how are you doing now, right? Because they got the guilt and the shame themselves.
I had, during my drinking and using, I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Okay. And I put that in air quotes because they were my using and drinking friends at the time. Very rarely did we have conversations of substance and the connection that you're talking about. Very much it was associated with drinking, using, and activities within.
Yeah.
So it was different, right? And now, like you said before, like the connection, and I love what the story you told about your cousin, who looks almost exactly like you, and I'm saying that to you, it's unbelievable. Like, just to be able to share real stuff with them, and not be afraid of like being yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what inspires me about you, is how much you've grown in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And just to like see and hear the things you talk about, which is really cool. And like, for me, I was so afraid, and I want to touch on something that you said before, that you come from a good family.
Yeah.
So much, and then you said about the judgments and the labels. People assume that because I fell into the addiction and the alcoholism, I must come from some sort of really like bad family or something like that. And I remember my mom, even when I came out of treatment and started telling my story, she's like, "Putta nahi gal nahi karni. Aani dasna besti honi family te loke ne sochna ki hai sade bare." And I was like, "Mom, no, it's not about that. This has nothing to do with the families. This has very much to do with the disease.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the I think the basis for why we want to talk so much about this
you
stuff.
want to break the cycle.
100%, and sort of destigmatize the issue, right? So that people feel more comfortable coming forward. You've got two people right here that I can only speak for myself. I tried to end my own life in 2017, right? And for what? Over what? And I have two beautiful kids, beautiful family, and I have amazing family, my mom, my brother, my sister, all these people, nephews, you name it, and friends, like real friends.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah.
Because I was afraid of what people were going to call me.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. No offense if any of my kids are watching this. I don't give a shit. I'm happy, and that's the whole point. And you got brothers like this where we march together. We got sisters like this, and we get to march together, and that's the key, right?
That's what's important.
So, we won't get too far into the history here, but when you were, I'm gonna rat you out a little bit here because we had talked previously a year and a half ago about going to treatment.
Well, ask my cousin.
What happened along the way? Yeah.
It was just okay. So I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go. Then I'll tell my cousin or my sister or whoever. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I'd feel a little bit better. And then you just in your head, you're like, okay, I'm good. And then the next couple, 3-4 days, but then you bounce right back to the same thing. So it was just one of those things where leave it. Why am I gonna waste money? It's just because it is a little bit expensive, but it's worth the money. Right,
it's an investment in yourself.
Yeah, it's an investment. It's small, it's a small investment, but it's a lifetime investment. So why not do it, right? Even before I went to treatment, I was, spoke to mom all the time. Yeah. And how she was just scared, is this really gonna work? Yeah. And then coming back, and you had a conversation about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was beautiful. To be able to talk to your mom, she was in tears, man, talking on the phone, and just to hear her. That's the stuff that happens.
Even I even talked to my sister too, a couple of nights ago, and I was like, "Do you ever really think I'd be like this?" She's like, "I would never thought you'd be like this."
Wow.
So it's kind of cool, And then you go to treatment and you see people, and everybody, they're beautiful people. You see people coming, just their lives are they're just in a bad space, but then when you see them after a month, wow, this guy, you get to know them, right? And they're actually normal, good, they're good people, really good people, caring, loving, right?
You see the evolution in people, and again, sort of dovetail to what you said about wanting to help other people. When you see that light turn on in somebody else's eyes, Ken, and you see it all the time with KidsPlay, all the work you guys do, and shout out to our big boy Cal. All of the changes that you see happen in a person's life, and then you see positive things like a conversation between son and mom and sister and cousin and dad and all these things. That's the juice.
It changes you.
Yeah.
It changes you completely, and it just restores your faith as well.
100%. People are good people. Just I've learned so much, and this is what's interesting. I think I said this on one of the other ones. It's just a small distinction between perspective on life.
Yeah.
I would always look at things from a negative perspective, right? But if we look at it on a spectrum, and I'll just use the example of trust. Trust is on two sides. You got distrust on one side, you got trust on the other. My goal in life is to be in the middle so that people have to earn my distrust, but they also have to earn my trust.
Yeah.
I would start at distrust. And that's where it started for me. And anything like anger, gussa, love, everything, it was just all in on one side or not.
Yeah.
And it's taught me to be in the middle. When you were going to treatment, let's talk about the night before. What's that like? What was that like for you?
Oh my God, I was scared.
Yeah.
Right, I was, calling you probably 10 times on the ferry.
Yeah.
I was and then as soon as on the ferry, I was just kind of okay, what's gonna happen? What's next? And I'm like, okay, let's just see how it goes. Let's just, meeting guys, people like Sumit, and seeing other people. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and just seeing what it's about. And for the first day I walked in there, I go into my room and it's all quiet. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be gone in about a week. And as soon as I got into the dining hall, it was just everybody just getting up to you and just giving you a hug, making you feel comfortable, appreciated, and it was awesome. The amount of love you get there, even staff and everybody, and the food's amazing. Right?
That was good. Yeah. You went to Cedars.
Cedars.
Shout out to Cedars. Cedars, thank you for everything you do for us. It's an incredible facility out in Nanaimo, not Nanaimo, a place called Cobble Hill, Maple Bay. It's stunning, and more than the aesthetics of it, it's just they do great work there.
Yeah. As soon as I got there, I gave them my cell phone because there's also there's cell phone rules, but I gave my cell phone, turned my cell phone off. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Let's do this right. And let's just move on with it's just a small little 2 months of my life. Let's just do this, figure what's going on, figure it out, and I learned a lot. Like it was just stuff that you learn. You just learn about yourself and figure out who you are as a person. And now, just 3 months, into my sobriety, and it's just like I'm slowly figuring myself out. Like I remember the first day, I got our treatment. Someone called me and so he's like, "Who's Prav?" And I couldn't even give him an answer. Right? I'm like, I don't even know who I am.
Is that what he asked you? Who's Prav?
Yeah, like, so who's Prav? I wanted to get to know Prav, and I didn't even know who I was. Now I can kind of tell him now, right? Because you just like I'm slowly figuring out myself who I'm truly, who I am, and who I'm set up to be, right?
And sorry to cut you guys off. We're gonna take a quick little break,
Yeah.
and then we'll be back within minutes.